third, I might have the blues, but nothing ever stopped me from dusting off my shoes. You might think you'll see me.
Hi, and welcome to Rental with Tim. I'm Tim. Thanks for being here. I always appreciate the time that you and I get to spend together, so thanks for tuning in. And I hope wherever you're watching this from that you're happy, healthy, and staying safe. On today's video, I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on the 2xU Run Dash compression tights.
Falling to the ground, but I threw up my umbrella when rain stops hitting down.
I did purchase these with my own money. They retail for $105 US on 2xU's website. But right now they have them on sale. I've seen them for as little as about $79 to $80 on Amazon, depending on the size you wear. But before I get into it too far, I always like to demonstrate what it looks like to run in the products I'm about to review for you. But then when we come back together, I'm going to take a close look at the features and talk about the performance to try to answer that question, are these the right compression tights for you?
This town's so lame, I'm feeling so wired. It's 4 a.m., I'm not even tired. We're in your car, we can drive away. Oh yeah, we're almost there. I'm loving this feeling of something new. Just right what I needed. Take me there, we can drive away. Oh yeah. Listen to the midnight radio.
Now, I started wearing compression tights a couple of months ago, and I was first introduced to 2xU when I purchased their Power One recovery tights. Now, those are the ones that you put on after you've completed your workout or if you're trying to work through an injury. So that would be the compression component of that old acronym: rest, ice, compression, and elevation. And if you've been injured in the past, I'm sure that you've heard of that. And so I was really looking for something that would give me more of a full body compression. And that's when I discovered the 2xU Power Recovery compression tights. And I did a video on those earlier. So if you're interested in that, you can check that out on the channel. I'll put a card above for you to be able to click on if you want to check those out. But I was also looking for something then that I could wear while I was running, something that would prevent my injuries from happening in the first place. So that old adage, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure kind of an idea. And that's when I bought the Run Dash compression tights from 2xU. Now, I've been wearing these for a couple of months and they're holding up really well. They're constructed with several different panels that are sewn together with what I would call kind of this industrial style stitching. So you can see the stitching of the fabric here. Now, every now and then I will get a loose thread and I'll see if I can kind of find one for you here. And I think that that's just a part of the way that it's stitched together, because I haven't had any of the panels separate. I haven't had any holes in them at all. I just take a pair of scissors and just kind of nip those loose threads and it seems just fine. Again, I don't think that that's a quality issue so much as it is just the style of stitching that they used when putting these component pieces together. So let's talk about each of these different panels that make up the Run Dash compression tights. With the upper front panel, now those are made up of 75% nylon and 25% of spandex. With the upper back panel, now those are made up of 65% nylon and 35% of spandex. And then they have a lower leg portion that's made up of their Run Dash mesh material. Now, all of these different panels sewn together give you a nice, firm, consistent amount of compression that's really comfortable and yet flexible, all the way from your ankles up through to your waist. Now, in terms of the amount of compression, again, it's firm but consistent. And they're measured in millimeters of mercury. Now that's the unit that they measure pressure. To get some kind of perspective, if you were to buy a pair of compression socks over the counter, maybe at your local running shop, they're probably going to be rated somewhere between 15 to 20. And these are rated 20 to 30 millimeters of mercury in terms of pressure, which is considered to be medical grade 1. Now these feel really terrific to run in. That firm compression does a really good job holding all of my major muscle groups in place, my quads, my calves, but it also feels good on my joints, my tendons, my IT band, all of those areas where I've had trouble in the past. I feel like I'm getting some protection by wearing these Run Dash compression tights. And I know that graduated compression does improve the amount of blood flow to my muscle groups. So that alone is helping to reduce any kind of injury and to speed up my recovery process. Now they also feature some storage that's located in the back of the tight. Now here they've got a port so you can run your earbuds through there if you like. It's a great place for you to store your cell phone, or in this case, maybe an MP3 player or something along those lines. If you don't want to take your MP3 player or your cell phone out with you, you can always keep some snacks or maybe a key fob or something along those lines in that space as well. Now these do feature a narrow waistband, but I found them to be comfortable, and they don't rely solely on the stretch of the material here to hold them in place. I really appreciate that. I always like having the option to have drawstrings like this. I just feel like they're a little bit more secure and I get a more custom fit, whether I'm wearing shorts or joggers or in this case compression run tights. I always appreciate having those drawstrings. So it's a little thing, but to me it makes a big difference. And overall, I found these to be really comfortable. You know, I didn't have any chafing anywhere in wearing these. The material's soft to the touch. I really like that mesh material that's down around my calves. It helps make it a little bit cooler. And speaking of coolness, you probably have noticed in most of that run footage that it's been cooler here. And I still found these to be comfortable to run in. Now, when it got to be really cold, I would say bitter cold, I did wear a pair of joggers over the top of these, and they layered just fine. But for the most part, just for kind of FYI purposes, the weather was somewhere between around 10 degrees Fahrenheit up to about the level of freezing. So, you know, they did a good job keeping me comfortable out on those types of workouts. I haven't run in these in really warm weather yet, so that's probably going to be a video later to come, or maybe a note in the comment section down the road, just kind of a follow-up to this video for you. Now the last feature that I want to point out is the reflective logo. So you can see that big X that's located on the thigh of these run tights. I always appreciate having a little bit of reflection on my gear. Now, oftentimes when I'm out running, it's either early in the morning when it might be a little bit dusk, or it's in the evening when it's also a little bit dusky out. So anytime that I've got something on me that helps keep me safe for others to be able to see me coming, especially motorists this time of year, I always appreciate that. And that big X that's located on that thigh, I think they look pretty cool. So I really enjoy running in the Run Dash compression tights by 2XU. I've been wearing them for a couple of months now, and I have a couple 100 miles in them. I know they're going to last a lot longer than that. They're not showing any signs of wear. They're really comfortable. Haven't had any chafing issues, anything along those lines. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I enjoyed making it for you. As always, run tall, run strong, be kind to one another. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on Run Tall with
This
Tim.
town's so lame. I'm feeling so